Sports. We are Black Hawk. We are St. Louis.
We are your exclusive home to Cardinals baseball all season long, Fox Sports Midwest. And today it's the rubber game between the Washington Nationals and the St. Louis Cardinals from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. And along with my partner, Al Rabosky, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us for Day Baseball. A little bit chilly here today, but one thing that was not was the bullpen yesterday and last night. Bullpen today should be in good shape.
It really should be. They were hot last night as they took over 4 innings last night, but 6 innings in the first game. Only 1 run allowed during that time, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. They were brilliant, and yet you got plenty of arms available for this afternoon. But how about Mitchell Boggs? He picks up his first professional save, and he did it in fine fashion. Wasn't it nice to see this game closed out and ease a lot of the Cardinal fans' problems? And then also we wake up to first place Cardinals.
Isn't that something? And Kyle Lohse looks to keep the Redbirds there. We'll talk about the Redbirds starter next. Brightly in downtown St. Louis, it's game number 3. Kyle Lohse gets the call, and Lohse is healthy and dealing since day 1 of spring training.
It really is translated with good success. ERA at 2.28. He's been able to keep the ball down, controlling the strike zone. He has only walked a couple, and that goes all the way back to spring training. good results with a lot of ground balls.
We call it 6 Degrees of Cardinal Nation. Dan Hyatt of our staff puts these together. It's coming up next. We'll take a look at lucky number 7. Getting set for game number 3 today, Washington and St. Louis. What about the number 7 in America's pastime? What does it mean? Here's Jim Hayes.
In baseball, the number 7 is significant. There are up to 7 games in a World Series. Fans enjoy a stretch in the 7th inning. And during the 1998 MLB draft, the Rockies stumbled across a former college quarterback in the 7th round. Matt Holliday joined the Cardinals in July of 2009. 3.5 weeks later, future Hall of Famer John Smoltz did too. Smoltz, who set a Cardinals franchise record with 7 consecutive strikeouts in his debut, made 7 starts for St. Louis, helping the Redbirds reach the postseason. John Smoltz's first MLB season was Ted Simmons' last, both with the Braves in 1988. Simba's batting average of .292 is the 7th best all-time for a catcher who caught at least 7 seasons. Simmons got a chance to catch full-time in 1971 after he replaced Joe Torre. How did Torre respond after he moved from catcher to third? He won the National League MVP. Torre had 137 RBIs during his MVP season, which is tied for the 7th highest single-season total in franchise history. Joe Torre and Red Schoendienst were on the same Braves roster in 1960. By then, Schoendienst was at the end of his Hall of Fame career, a career in which the second baseman led the league in fielding percentage 7 times. Where there was Red Schoendienst, there was Enos Slaughter. The two teamed up to win the 1946 World Series with the Cardinals. Schoendienst collected 7 hits in 7 games, and Slaughter's legendary mad dash proved to be the game winner of the decisive 7th game. Slaughter was a teammate of Mickey Mantle, the same Mickey Mantle who helped the Yankees win 7 World Series, the original and greatest number 7. Mickey Mantle faced high expectations early in his career. He was originally given the number 6. Since Ruth was 3, Gehrig was 4, and DiMaggio was 5. But Mickey struggled in his first few weeks and switched from 6 to 7 to eliminate unnecessary pressure. It helped. Matt Holliday chose number 7 to honor fellow Oklahoman Mickey Mantle. And apparently Holliday doesn't mind the pressure, considering 7 comes after 5 and 6.
American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. They're watching today around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. Welcome, sit back, and enjoy some baseball. And from all of us here in St. Louis and across the United States, thank you for what you do. Kyle Lohse and the Cardinals coming up next. It's Day Baseball, Washington and St. Louis here on Fox Sports Midwest. Budweiser, great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Chevy, see your Mid-America Chevy dealers. By Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 in quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake, life needs flavor. The banks of the Mississippi here in St. Louis. Glad that you're with us. Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin with you, and our Fox Sports Midwest crew. Busch Stadium still filling up for Day Baseball. And a look at the lineup for the Nationals. Espinosa will lead it off, followed by Ankiel and then Worth, LaRoche, Desmond Morse, Rodriguez, Cora, and Gorzolani. We saw Gorzolani at the very end of spring training, and he was matched up against this guy, Kyle Lohse.
And Kyle Lohse has pitched very well. ERA under 3. He's gone at least 7 innings in all 3 of his starts. His first start, he was nearly perfect for the first 5. Got a couple balls up in the 6th inning. Was hurt by 2 errant pitches up that helped produce 4 runs. But he has been very good all season long.
Espinosa in the air to right field, and the catch is made by John Jay. John Jay getting a start this afternoon. And a look at the defense behind Kyle Lohse. In the outfield, it's Matt Holliday, Colby Rasmus, and Jay, who you just saw. Then David Freese, Ryan Theriot, Nick Punto, and Albert Pujols. Lohse and Molina, the battery today. That's brought to you by Dobbs, and David Freese played in Game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday. At Game 2 off. Saw John Jay make a very good play on that ball off the bat of Espinosa, as this is Rick Ankiel. And the one thing we've learned about John Jay, Al, is that whether he's in center or in right, he gets very good jumps.
Gets good jumps. He's very alert. I think even though that was a fine play, I think Berkman makes the same play. And with the left-hander Gorzolani on the mound, perfect time for Tony to give the Cardinals very productive switch hitter, Lance Berkman. He leads the club in home runs and RBIs. A little day off.
One of the reasons why Washington signed Rick Ankiel, they needed some insurance on their bench, and they also wanted to reunite him with Rick Eckstein. Rick Eckstein is their hitting coach. He was with the Cardinals in the minor league system when Rick Ankiel had 32 home runs one year. 2 away. Good start here for Kyle Lohse. And now, what has made him successful this year outside of the obvious of being healthy?
Well, that is the obvious. That forearm had the corrective surgery. He finally can finish off his pitches, has life to his pitches. And as a pitcher, if you have that last little follow through where you can kind of have a free wrist and get the life on your pitches. But just look at how he keeps the ball down now with all of his pitches and gets good results.
The big free agent signing, Jason Worth, has increased his slugging percentage each of the last 4 years. It was .532 a year ago. And this season, 2 home runs, and he's driven in 4. Right down the middle for a strike. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. So the big ticket purchases, Matt Holliday a couple of off seasons ago, and this past off season, Jason Worth for Washington. Called third strike, never swung the bat. And Kyle Lohse, quick work here in the first. No score. Exclusive home of Cardinals baseball all year long, Fox Sports Midwest. And a look at the lineup. Theriot, Rasmus, and Pujols, followed by the cleanup man, Holliday. Then Freese and Molina, Punto, Jay, and Lohse. And Tom Gorzolani, the lefty, getting the start for the Nationals.
Biggest acquisition from the Nationals from a pitching standpoint is Gorzolani. See the ERA over 5.5.
And the first pitch is taken for a strike by Ryan Theriot, who's hitting .316. No home runs and 8 RBIs.
Nationals feel he's one of the better number 5 starters in the league.
And that catches the outside corner. We saw in game 1 that Theriot really came alive in the doubleheader. Good to see his average above 300. 4 for 10 in this series with an RBI. Foul back. Good cut. These two were teammates in Chicago a couple of years ago. Ryan Theriot and Tom Gorzolani. This is down and in. Gorzolani came up with Pittsburgh in 2005. His best season was in 07. He was 14-10 for the Buccos. Traded away to Chicago at the end of 2009. Was 7-9 last year with Chicago. And acquired a trade of some minor leaguers to bring Gorzelani to Washington.
His first 2 starts against the Cardinals were he enjoyed great success, 1-0 ERA at 0.59. Hasn't been the case of late.
Hit on the ground to short. Handled easily by Ian Desmond for the first out. Let's take a look at the defense behind Tom Gorzelani this afternoon. With Morrison left, Ricky Ankiel in center, and Worth is in right. Cora, Desmond, Espinoza, and Adam LaRoche over at first. Gorzelani and Pudge Rodriguez, the battery that's presented by Dobbs. As we saw in both games yesterday, Al, the outfield arms of Washington are plus arms. Very good defensively.
Especially in right and center. Kobe really becoming the Iron Man of the ball club. As you look at Jason Worth, wasn't happy with that called strike. There's Ankiel. We know about his throwing arm.
Rasmus home run off of John Lannon, the lefty, yesterday. And he has 3 on the year and 9 RBIs.
He played every inning on the recent 10-game road trip.
We've talked about it. You go back to last season, a direct correlation. When he was out with injury, the team struggled.
Especially that late in September, the 2-8 10-day road trip started in Washington. And that really did the Cardinals in.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Redbirds will welcome Cincinnati to town tomorrow. We'll have an hour-long pregame show beginning at 6. Hour-long tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Big gap in the right center for Colby. The 2-2 pitch on its way. On the outside corner. Just caught the outside portion of the plate. And the first strikeout for Gorzelani.
It appears we have a big strike zone tonight. Sweeping breaking ball all the way across the plate.
And a look at our keys to the game presented by Toyota. The Cardinals offensively have just been outstanding. You take away that first homestand, gets even better after that. Great road trip, and they've hit well in this series so far. Pujols with 5 home runs. He's driven in 12. Homer to right center in game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday. And he had 3 other balls that he hit to the track that probably, if it's a little bit warmer, or we're in the middle of the summer months here in St. Louis, they probably leave the ballpark.
Washington was talking that they felt that there were 4 balls that he hit that should have been home runs, only credited with 1.
The 1-1 pitch inside. Many times that's a purpose pitch, as you well know, Al, just to back off that hitter off the plate. But Pujols has the uncanny ability a lot of times, unlike other hitters, where it just doesn't seem to affect him. There's that pitch outside. He'll take that the other way.
It's amazing to me that more pitchers do not try to exploit Albert inside. But if you're going to do so, you have to make sure you get it in.
And that's a 2-out walk to Pujols. The first base runner of this ball game. And it brings in Matt Holliday. The doubleheader yesterday, lefty on the mound. Probably a good idea to give Lance Berkman a chance to rest up. And you've got his bat coming off the bench later today if you wish.
I think there's no doubt, as Lance, the switch hitter, but his weakest side is the right side. And he's playing more than we probably thought he would. Take advantage of his hot bat, but keep him fresh by spelling him on a day when there's a left-hander on the mound. Berkman, by the way, is 3 for 10 when facing Gorzelani. Holliday 3 for 7.
Oh, 0-1 pitch. Holliday, a big swing and a miss. Got a future Hall of Famer behind the plate. And the Nationals folks are telling us that he can still catch and throw. In his career, he's thrown out 42% of would-be base stealers. And that's the top figure posted since the catching stats began back in 1987. He has 13 Gold Gloves. Holliday reaches for it. Out to deep left. Near the wall. It's gone. Into the bullpen of the Washington Nationals. Just muscled it over the wall, and it's 2-0 Redbirds.
This Cardinal offense, as you said, they've come alive since that first game in Arizona. That was 9 games ago. The Cardinals lead Major League Baseball with 357 average. And they're driving the ball out of the ballpark. There you see that great strength, little breaking ball, goes out there, reaches for it, and just puts that powerful swing, and quickly a 2-0 lead for the Redbirds.
Now David Freese moves up a spot in this lineup and hitting behind Matt Holliday. You know, Freese and Holliday have really turned into good friends away from the ballpark. Those two work out in the offseason here in St. Louis as Matt moved his family from Austin, Texas. And of course, David Freese, native of St. Louis.
The furniture may be a little different in their households.
I would say so.
It's David the bachelor that really doesn't need much more than a mattress.
TV.
Well, not much more. TV is a must. And I think, you know, when you really look at for David Freese to kind of model himself after, a good batter would be, and probably the most, not saying he's at the elite category of Holliday yet, but he has a lot of potential, and because of the body size and the type of hitters they are, I think that's a pretty good one for him to emulate.
2 balls and 2 strikes here on David Freese. Ground ball to short. Matt Holliday connects with his 2nd home run of the year. RBIs 10 and 11. Reaching for it. Knocked it over the wall and left. After an inning of play, Redbirds on top. 2-0. And it's 2-0. The Redbirds on top thanks to this swing from Matt Holliday.
Well, he's just so strong. But watch even this. This is an outside pitch that he really didn't get these arms fully extended until he got the follow through. And had a little flexibility as he went down and got the breaking ball.
Here's Lohse, who's hitting .222, pair of home runs and 6 driven in. Kyle Lohse with a strikeout in the first. Lohse has reached base in 13 of the 15 games for Washington that he's played in. And a ground ball to the right side. Nick Punto is there. 1 away, 4 up and 4 down. Now going back to Holliday, and I mentioned how he moved from Austin, Texas, the home of the Texas Longhorns. He worked out on their campus and their facility And the football coach, Mac Brown, the basketball coach, Rick Barnes, brought their players in to watch how he worked out, and also to work out with him, because he was such a great example of getting after it in the weight room and flexibility, all the different things that he did to keep himself in the kind of condition he's in. He is right now, to me, even bigger than he was last year.
And big in a good way.
Yeah.
You know, natural strength.
Muscle, big.
My question is, how did an Oklahoman get to Texas?
You have to ask him that.
I could probably be a fight in that one.
And they actually let him in.
And they let him in, yeah. Well, maybe they saw how big he is, too.
Don't mess with him. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Ian Desmond. 1-2. And Lohse early on looks very sharp.
Well, just look at the results. When he's already gotten a couple ground balls, a strikeout, just one initial fly ball, the line drive to right field. But keeping the ball down, he doesn't walk anybody, so he's not beating himself. He's a very good athlete. He can field his position, help himself swing the bat a little bit. And what a great asset in his first 3 starts, not only to go at least 7 innings, but he's only allowed the opposition to score in 1 inning.
Gets him to reach on a 2-2 pitch. Carries out to center field. Rasmus there. 2 outs.
So if you can keep the opposition just only scoring in 1 inning per start, that's a pretty good shot. And as we said, if he keeps the ball down, he's going to have good results. Change up right there. It's a little weak fly ball to center. 5 up, 5 down.
What a relief this must be for him as you get a look at Michael Morris, who played in game 2 of the doubleheader. But for Lohse, just how frustrating it must have been to go out there and realize he couldn't do what he was doing in years past, and trying to justify a contract, trying to prove to his teammates that he's a better pitcher than what he's shown. All those things.
Well, and he and I had a long talk, and he wasn't real happy with me at one point a couple of years ago when we really didn't know the extent of his injury that necessitated a very unusual surgery to relieve the pressure on the forearm. Because, we talked about his body language, how bad it looked, and everything else. And now we found that a lot of that was a reason. And to help explain it now is, he said, I just felt like I had soaked my arm in ice for an hour. I had no feeling. I couldn't finish off pitches. I looked horrible because I'm out there trying to execute pitches, and I have no idea where the ball's going. But we have found that I was wrong, and he is the competitor that we're seeing today.
Someone was mad at you?
Not the first time.
Get in line. He's in the middle of the line. There's a long line of guys.
Of course. Most of them are dead, though.
2 balls and 2 strikes here on Morse. On the outside corner, strikeout. The second of the afternoon for Kyle Lohse. Midway through 2, and it's 2-0. Exclusive Cardinals coverage, plus follow us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest Cardinals updates. Plus, you can find out video and see Tony TV, Jim Hayes as well. It's all at foxsportsmidwest.com, the place for Cardinal fans. Yadier Molina leads it off. We're in the bottom of the second here in St. Louis. It's Molina, the switch hitter Punto, and John Jay. Yadier is 2 for 4 in this series. And the first pitch taken a little bit low. Just joining us, Matt Holliday is a 2-run homer with 2 outs in the first. Brought in Albert Pujols, who had walked in front of him. That is all the scoring so far. Top of the 6th, and the Reds trying to salvage a game with their series in Cincinnati. With Arizona, they lead it 5-3.
Got off to the quick start, and they have struggled of late. Cincinnati, loser of 4 straight. Four-way tie in the National League Central. Chicago, Cincinnati, Milwaukee, and St. Louis, all with 500 records, 9-9.
Here's a 3-1 pitch. Full count on Yadier Molina. The Nationals starters are 3rd in the NL. ERA that's at 3.56. Their pitching has been very good. Their offense has not. Offense is last in the National League.
But you can see this National Ball Club much improved. They're on the right direction, and they got to almost be giddy looking to the future, seeing some of the young stars they have in their minor league system, getting Strasburg back.
3-2 into shallow center field, and Ankiel makes the catch. That was just a bad injury for baseball. People were really excited across the country, baseball fans, to watch Steven Strasburg. And I think it'll be probably the same way as Harper gets a little bit closer to the big leagues too. He was compared in Sports Illustrated as the LeBron James of baseball.
Well, that's, you know, the other day he hit his first professional home run. He's playing at A-ball. Talking about Bryce Harper, who it's a great story. Is what he took his GED. You know, that's a tough one for me. But he took that one after his junior year. Is that right?
Right. So he was essentially done with high school, went to a junior college, which then would make him eligible for the draft even earlier than the normal process of his age group.
And became the #1 draft pick in the country
as a catcher, but now he's playing the outfield.
The outfield. Well, they have you know, a couple young Ramos, and you know, is a great young catcher. They also have, you know, Flores, Jesus Flores, who is coming back from a serious arm injury. Really missed most of the last 2 seasons. So they feel, and they got a future Hall of Famer who still wants to play a couple more years in Rodriguez. But Harper is such a hitting talent that we talked about, moving to the outfield, save those legs and extend his career for what they think is going to be a brilliant major league career.
The Minnesota Twins are battling that right now with Joe Mauer.
Correct.
He has fatigue in his legs, the catcher that they signed to a long-term deal. It's fouled back by the former Minnesota Twin, Nick Punto. But you have Justin Morneau, who's at first base. And where do you put a guy like Mauer? Former batting champion and one of the best hitters in all of baseball. The 2-2 pitch to Punto. We saw Punto come through in interleague play, and his glove really stood out in that series.
Well, not only that, but he looks like he's one of these little pesky hitters that drives a pitcher crazy. Very disciplined. He'll take the walk. He'll work the deep count. Not going to hit for a lot of power, but flare and quail the ball. But his forte is his defense.
He drew a walk yesterday in game 1, part of a rally, and draws a 1-out walk here in the Cardinals half of the second. Time again for the Cardinals Kids Clinics. These are great. Learn from former Cardinals and big leaguers. All you have to do is go to cardinals.com/clinics, and they're one-day clinics at St. Louis area ball fields. Guys like Allen and Andy Bennis will be a part of it. Scott Cooper, TJ Matthews, Mike Crudell, who's living in the area, Mike Tyson as well. Scott Terry puts those on and does a very, very good job.
I believe there's more than 50 Cardinal alumni living in the St. Louis area. A lot of them are still involved in teaching at the amateur level and understand some of the best.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to John Jay. Looks at a strike on the outside corner. This would be a good test for Jay, the lefty-lefty matchup here this afternoon.
And we noticed last season when John Jay came up and really held in there against lefties, took a lot of balls to left field, and that's a good sign. You hold that front shoulder in. John Jay showed the ability to hit off the bench. Hit 300 in his part-time duty last year. It's really where I projected him to be, a 4th or 5th outfielder.
The 1-1 pitch from Gorzolani, and time is called.
And of course, 4th or 5th outfield with the Cardinals is not too shabby, because that's a pretty tough trio to break into.
Holiday, Rasmus, Berkman, all everyday players. Inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Saw after the trade of Brian Ludwig, it was John Jay that got the primary time in the outfield and was just tearing the cover off the ball. It seemed like the league figured him out, but then he made adjustments again at the end of the season. Tap to Gorzolani. He'll spin and underhand. Makes the play. And Nick Punto advances to scoring position at second base, and it brings in Cal Lohse.
I don't personally like to see that underhand toss, especially on a little play like that. You really can't put a lot on it. You have a chance to where you can make an errant throw. Better mechanics. You spin, you get your feet in alignment, take that little crow hop and show an overhand toss. Much easier for the first baseman to see it.
Shallow here for Kyle in the outfield, and a big gap in the left center. He can swing the bat. Even the way that he is carrying himself this year, he just looks like a different guy.
Absolutely. Confidence, health, confidence. He believes in himself, and he can back it up with what he does on the mound.
If he could turn on a pitch, there is all kinds of room left side of the outfield. Ankiel and Worth are very close in center and right to each other.
Oh, they're close, and look how far off the line Worth is in right.
2 balls and no strikes. Hit out of play.
Tough decision for Jose Oquendo with Punto running out at second base, in the sense that he's coming off of the sports hernia. And you have the great throwing arms in right and center. You all got to be a little protective. Remember, Punto only had like 4 games in extended spring.
2-2.
No spring training, so I mean, he's just getting started.
Which makes the walks even more impressive.
Yes, because obviously his timing's not there, his eye's not there. Extended spring, you're really facing, young amateur or first professional players or injured guys.
2-2 is hit to third. Made that a little bit harder than it needed to be. Across the diamond they go for the out. Punto draws a walk. We played 2 and it's 2-0. Jim Hayes coming up. Opening soon at Lumiere Place Casino and Hotels, the Pulse of St. Louis. By Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of day. And by Kia Motors. Back at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Umpires have suited up for the weather. It's a little bit chilly here in downtown St. Louis. Along with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. And Jim Hayes has joined us. And this is Pudge Rodriguez, and he takes a strike on the outside corner. It's been 6 up and 6 down to start the afternoon for Lohse with a pair of strikeouts. Pudge is hitting 172 and takes a pitch just outside. Those right-handed batters, those pitches on the outside corner, Al, are not being called strikes, and Lohse 2 or 3 different occasions has gone there and not gotten the pitch, but doesn't matter here. Fly out to left, and Holiday is there for the out.
Well, you just keep on working. You convince the umpire that that's a strike, but just keep the ball down and things will work out fine for him.
Jim, live on the pregame show, Skip Schumacher. How was he faring with his injury?
Better than he thought it might be. He was scared it was going to be something that would put him out for a lot longer. He says a couple of weeks away. He's on the 15-day DL. And I guess the bad thing for him is that they just now told him he can get on the exercise bicycle, because he's one of those guys like Matt Holliday is always doing some sort of fitness thing. And when they can, it makes him crazy. By the way, it is nice and warm up here. What do you guys got? Heaters down here? Very nice. Very nice.
You know, this isn't our first rodeo.
No, it isn't.
Al.
No, it isn't.
The 2-0 pitch. Oh, off the glove of Lohse. Punto is there for the out.
Make sure it was off the glove, and he just told Molina yes. That looked like he motioned to the back of the glove, backhand. But when Lohse had the problem, he was a hitter. He was hit by a pitch. You get concerned.
He also had a problem covering first base. I mean, he's had a lot of little mishaps along the way that had nothing to do with pitching. So they could be concerned about this. It started
with the plate appearance, and then fielding a ball, he stumbled and kind of strained the forearm again too, didn't he?
That's right. This is not his first rodeo, Al. You're being a little rough on Jim, aren't you?
Well, he looks a little tired.
I feel great.
We understand we're having a little video trouble. We apologize for that and working on it diligently.
It's not our first rodeo.
Jim, you kind of look like Tony. I said Tony
Oh, come on now.
I said, Tony,
no, stop right there.
I said, you look horrible. I said, how do you feel? And he goes, like I look. Kind of like Jim.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Gorzelani in his 7th year is hitting .083. And he strikes out. So first time through the lineup for Kyle Lohse. Doesn't allow a hit. And 3 Ks. Terrio, Rasmus, Pujols, top of the lineup coming up. Cardinals.com to order. MLB.tv. Baseball is everywhere. I want to congratulate our cameraman out there, Kenny. Kenny is now working in his 62nd season of Cardinals baseball. Congratulations, Ken. 2-0 as we move to the bottom of the 3rd. Redbirds on top. Terrio, Rasmus, and Pujols. Terrio grounded out to short his first time up. The aspects of having Nick Punto on this roster, Jim, is he can play a little shortstop too. He can play second. He can play third. He can play short. Versatile guy.
Plays them all well.
Switch hitter.
The one thing is, as Al pointed out, hasn't had a lot of playing time. 15 at bats at extended spring training. After the game last night, Tony La Russa says, I'd put Punto back out there, but it's up to him. So we went to him today, and Nick said, I'm fine, not sore at all. And Nick told me before the game he feels great. And in terms of the rust that he's trying to knock off, he doesn't feel like there's that much. And I said, how about getting an RBI base hit like you had last night? Is that something you hang your hat on? He said, absolutely. You get something like that, it takes a lot of the pressure off.
The 2-1 is hit out of play, 2-2. Classy move for folks that did not see it yesterday. Local paper here in town. And we're going all over the place across the country, and aboard ships at sea and Armed Forces Network. But Ricky Ankiel took out a half-page ad thanking the fans here in St. Louis for his time and the support of this fan base. And I know, Jim, you had a chance to visit with Rick and making his first visit back to St. Louis, now wearing that Washington uniform.
Yeah, he said that through everything that he went through as a Cardinal, the coming up as a prospect, the becoming a full-time position player, the Cardinal fans were with him every step of the way, and he really appreciated it. He said in this day and age, in pro ball, to be with an organization for 11 some years is almost unheard of. So he has a lot of admiration not only for the Cardinal organization but for the fans for hanging with him.
And Al, give the Cardinals some credit too. When he decided not to pitch, Cardinals brought him back. Remember, he was ready to retire. He had walked away, And they told him, take a few days, but think about coming back and being a position player. And that one caught Pudge Rodriguez. That's the second that has caught him today.
Pudge 20 consecutive opening day assignments. This year it just happened to be the 25th 100 game of his career, but saw that one got him maybe in the bicep of his right throwing arm. But back to Ankiel, he's an exceptional athlete, a former second-round draft pick of the Cardinals. Dan, you and I did the game when he made his major league debut up in Montreal.
Yep.
And it was special to see that. Then remember, he won 11 ball games, had the problems in the playoffs, never really fully recovered.
3-2 is hit on the ground to Lohse. He'll take it himself, steps on the bag for the out. Never forget that night. Olympic Stadium in Montreal. And that was to the Cardinal fans in the paper. Post-Dispatch here locally. But just an unbelievable story, and it's one that you don't get sick about talking about it or hearing about, because it's just the legend grows, so to speak.
Yes, and when he can't come back as a position player, and we also had that memorable night, his first game back, he hit a home run, and no one was happier in that dugout than Tony La Russa. But his first full season as a position player, he hit 25 home runs. So when you try to make a comparison for a pitcher that won 11 ball games and a hitter that hit 25 home runs, there's only one other person that could lay that claim. Now, there's a difference between the two of them, but that other person is Babe Ruth.
It's remarkable. When he first announced his intention to become a position player full-time, a lot of people doubted him. Most people doubted him. It's hard to do, and he did it, to his credit. I asked him, is there one memory that stands out for you as a Cardinal? And he said the things he remembers are when he surprises himself. And certainly the home run that first game back with the Cardinals was one he'll remember, but he said he remembers his first home run as a pitcher. Little things like that. He said one doesn't outweigh the other.
He's such a good athlete.
That's it.
Jim and I, a few years ago in Colorado, are playing pickup basketball. And Rick decides to come and join us. That's taken for a ball outside.
We wanted no part of it.
No part. Well, we asked him. I asked him.
Well, talk about when John came in.
We'll leave that alone.
Bringing in too much.
Yeah. But he said he hadn't picked up a basketball in years. So we're just sitting there shooting shots, and Rick Ankiel starts to play. He starts dunking the basketball. I mean, he is just an unbelievable athlete. He can join Major League Baseball and the Major League Baseball Players Association in helping Japan's children in need. Visit unicef.org or text Japan to 864-233. For more information, visit MLB.com/Japan Relief.
Oh, can I put the disclaimer in there? You were playing with the Cat's 2.5-year-old son Tyler's basketball net.
No.
The one 3 foot high.
No, this was official, and as I recall, of the three players, there were two that were well below the net. That was where the level of play was for the other two. One was above the rim.
Here's Albert Pujols following the walk to Colby Rasmus. Leaning towards second. 1-0 pitch. Pujols. Out at second. Out at first. Double play. Very nicely done by Ian Desmond to get to that baseball. Hard hit. They had time to turn it. 6-4-3. Jim, I'll either see you on the court or on the postgame show coming up. That's Jim Hayes, and it's 2-zip St. Louis. Top of the lineup, top of the fourth, and it's 2-0 Cardinals. First pitch to Espinosa was taken for a strike. He is flied out to right. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes.
At the double play, the young combo turn.
Very nice.
Pretty nifty there from Espinosa, who has really been impressive in this series.
Well, we talked about it yesterday. He was rated as their top defender in the minor leagues, and he was a shortstop, but they really like Desmond at short, so they moved Espinosa over to second, and that'll be their combination, they hope, for years to come.
And now you get this outstanding defensive prospect being their leadoff hitter. He's tied for second in the National League with 15 RBIs, leads all major league rookies. He's hit in 4 straight games.
Here's a 1-2 pitch and a ground ball to the right side. Punto. Let's go back to the turn by Danny Espinosa as Desmond got to this ball that was hit very hard off the bat of Pujols.
Desmond has great range, but watch this. You know, that backhanded flip. You got a runner coming down on you. You know, it's taken a lot of time for that to develop. You cut across the bag, and then you have to throw off balance to complete the double play.
Ankiel hits it in the air to center. Rasmus is there, puts it away for the second out. Ricky Ankiel hit .255 with 47 home runs in portions of 3 seasons with the Cardinals. Not too bad for a pitcher.
It's bad for a position player. He has some holes in his swings. It looks like he's starting to seal them off a little bit.
Swing looks a little shorter to me.
Yes.
Jason Worth hits it hard in the right field for a base hit. The first hit allowed by Kyle Lohse here this afternoon.
Kyle very efficient though. He's only thrown 37 pitches. Go out there. He's got a little more fly balls than what we have been seeing. That ball right dead in the middle of the plate. And yet it's only a single, so it's worth a first pitch base hit.
And it brings in LaRoche. The outfield is very, very deep. LaRoche had 25 home runs, 100 RBIs a year ago. Grounded out to second, first time up, he's 0 for 1.
LaRoche is one of 5 major league first basemen to have 20 or more home runs in each season for the last 6 years. Very good defensively. He's already made an impact by scooping balls out of the dirt, saving errors.
1 ball, 1 strike. The Nationals really have struggled here at the new Busch Stadium. They are 4-13 against St. Louis at this ballpark, and Jim Riggleman has been a part of just 2 winning series played in St. Louis of this franchise dating back to 1997. A lot of young talent. Jim Riggleman, a guy that has been around the block or 2, minor leagues, major leagues, been with Seattle, Chicago, San Diego, now Washington. And you bring in the veterans like LaRoche and Worth and Rodriguez for those young players.
Yeah, you have to have a few veterans around them to keep them even keel, not let them get too high or too low. LaRoche, because of his great defensive ability, saves a lot of run. Jason Worth, who they told us has done a lot of little things, you know, not with the bat like he's being paid for, but a lot of little things to help win. And Pudge is a future Hall of Famer.
2-2 pitch. This is down and in. That side of the plate, it's not being called a strike. In on the lefties, the outside corner on the righties.
And it's strange to me as you see so many of these umpires really sit on the inside part of the plate. So now with the 3-2 pitch, 2 outs, Albert will play behind the runner.
Worth is off with the pitch. There he goes, the 3-2.
There's that pitch.
Was taken for a ball. First walk issued by Cal Lohse. As part of our Fox Sports Supports Charitable Initiative, we're proud to wear pins during our 2011 MLB on Fox Sports Midwest season to stand up to cancer. You'll see that tomorrow.
We'll set up outside, but it's a pitcher, you're trained to throw that ball right there. Roche does have a good eye, and the umpire and Fox Tracks agrees with the call.
Little breaking ball got him to reach. Flip to second for the force play. Washington strands 2. Midway through 4. Holiday coming up. It's 2-0. Volquez McClellan, game 1 of our 3-game set with the Cincinnati Reds, and an hour-long pregame show tomorrow with the Reds coming into town. So our telecast begins at 6. Back in the first inning, 2 outs, Pujols on, and Matt Holliday reached for this baseball and knocked it out of the park. His second home run this year. RBIs 10 and 11.
Very slow start last season, but went over the century mark in RBIs again. We saw him in spring training, the way he was crushing the ball and just the physical stature of him. We knew he was going to have a big year.
1-0 pitch, fouled straight back.
And how about the .452 batting average right now?
Interesting piece in USA Today. Who's the greatest Expo or National?
I saw that picture, and what's your thoughts?
Probably Andre Dawson, Hall of Famer, but they also have Gary Carter listed there, Tim Raines, Ryan Zimmerman. Short resume for him.
Steve Rogers was an outstanding pitcher, but he'll get lost.
Al Oliver was in there.
Al Oliver was, won a batting title playing up there, I believe.
Larry Walker, another name you could think about.
Yes, but you probably associate him so much more with Colorado.
How about Pedro Martinez?
Randy Johnson.
Another one, too. Vladimir Guerrero.
Vladimir Guerrero should be on that, in that picture.
Guerrero is the all-time leader in batting average and home runs and slugging percentage.
Jean Cabela.
How did you like playing up there in Montreal?
Well, I know last night how much you enjoyed visiting, but it was a little different, because I played in Jerry Park. That was
outdoors.
Real small little ballpark.
Outdoors.
Just a wind tunnel out to right field. That was much different than Olympic Stadium, but it was different. It wouldn't have been my favorite place, but for a lot of times, a lot of the seasons. You know, the Cardinals dominated up there, so you liked it more.
Some chilly nights up there.
Some very chilly nights.
I could only imagine. It's really unfortunate that baseball is no longer there, and you go back to when they led all of Major League Baseball in attendance.
Yes, people forget about that when they see the dwindling attendance at the end of their reign. But at one time, you're right, early 80s, they led baseball in attendance. People had a great time up there. It was a Dodger farm team for many years before it got into the Major League Baseball.
2-1.
And I think our buddy Manny Mota might have been the first drafted player in the expansion draft.
People also forget, north of the border, the Toronto Blue Jays, when they had back-to-back World Series champions, they drew over 4 million fans. 4 million. Their attendance obviously is down. On the inside corner, and it's 2-2. Freeze grounded out to short his first time up. Fights off that pitch. Matt Holliday is 2 for 2, and let's take a look at those 2 hits.
Well, there you see the little breaking ball. He goes down and gets it and lifts it for the home run. But he is such a good hitter as he takes this pitch up and away and just shoots it to right field. That's why he's hitting over 450, is because he is an outstanding hitter.
Off speed pitch, and Freeze strikes out 2 on the afternoon for Gorzolani.
And we talked a little bit about Holliday and Pujols, both exceptionally strong men that are really not home run hitters. They're line drive, high average hitters that hit home runs because of their strength.
Yadier Molina. First time up, he flied out to center. 0 for 1 today. His average is at 280.
Every time you see Yachty come up and a runner at first base, just looks like there's such a huge hole to the right side, and he's so good at going that way.
As much as Gorzolani likes to pick, too.
Right.
You know, the outside pitch and just take it to right. See the pitch count at 78. Lohse on the other side only at 45. He's been very, very efficient.
That's everyone's goal, is to be patient enough, knock out the starting pitcher, get into the Achilles heel, long relief.
In the air, out to left. Morse is over. That'll find the seats. No balls and 2 strikes. This is where Yachty also excels, protecting the plate. 2 strike counts.
Has that ability just to spoil good pitches, just get a piece of it, waiting for the mistake.
There's an 0-2. Popped up to the right side. LaRoche over near the Cardinal dugout. Runs out of room. Nothing into the count with 1 out and a runner at first. Big gap in the left center. Popped up. The shortstop, Desmond. Two away, and it's up to the switch hitter, Punto. Punto walked and was left stranded back in the second.
Nick's going to be a very valuable piece of the puzzle. Talked about a super utility guy, an exceptional fielder at any spot you put him in the infield, and a pesky little hitter that will contribute here and there.
The Cardinals really take away those blown saves, would be off to a terrific start. They have won 7 of their last 10, and 3 of the 4 losses, Al, on the past road trip, and 4 of the 9 total this season have come in the opposition's final at bat.
And Dan, worse than that, many times 3 of those 4 blown saves came with no one on base, 2 outs in the 9th and no one on base.
Right.
But that happens over the course of the year. At some point you look back and you kind of laugh at that when you run away with the division.
Think about the 04 team, first 40 games right around 500, and then they just took off.
Fans would probably be amazed where most baseball people would tell you that they don't mind and usually expect a team to be, after about 40 games, be 500. But they'll find out what the kind of ball club they have during the course of those 40 games. Their strengths will appear, well, so will their weaknesses. And then you may be in a position where you can work on those deficiencies, try to, whether through a trade or just having people aware of a weakness, extra scrutiny to it, concentration on it, make that a plus. It's a long season, and everything usually works its way out.
Here's a 3-1 pitch. 3-2. John Jay is on deck. Molina popped out for the second out. Strikeout of Freeze. Holiday is standing at first, and now LaRoche will back up and play behind Holiday, who's off with his next pitch. There he goes, and Punto takes another walk. That's his 3rd in this series.
And that's just like getting 3 base hits, but
that's 4 walks by Tom Gorzelani. No activity in the Nationals bullpen. But you would have to figure that Jim Riggleman is frustrated seeing 4 walks here in the first 4 innings.
He is, but he also has seen his starters go at least 5 innings in every start this year. The Washington Nationals, the only team that can boast about that. And also with a tired bullpen. They had a doubleheader on Sunday, off day Monday. Tuesday they had the rain out, day-night doubleheader yesterday. But there's probably some arms down there that would like to see the bullpen not used until late in this game.
2 outs and 2 on for John Jay. Grounded back to Gorzelani, his first time up. Kyle Lohse is on deck. 2 outs here in the Cardinals half of the 4th. Two and 0. You'd have the bases loaded, but if you're Gorzelani, would you rather deal with Kyle Lohse on deck? You've fallen behind here 2-0. And a little bouncer, slowly hit. Punto trying to get in the way of the second baseman. To no avail. Cardinals strand 2. We move to the 5th. 2-0 here at Busch Stadium. Berry lemonade for just $1, only at McDonald's. Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin with you at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Top of the fifth rolls in, and the Cardinals have a 2-0 lead. And we just joined us, 2-run homer by Matt Holliday in the first, and Kyle Lohse has allowed just one base hit to Jason Worth. That was in the fourth. He's also walked a man, and he has struck out 3. He's been very efficient.
You know, that walk is only his 3rd of the season. That's been another part of his success. Keep the ball in the ballpark, don't walk anybody, and you got a good chance to win.
Little jam shot popped up. Pujols over and runs out of room. Into the dugout it goes. 0-2 the count.
We talked about it last night with Morris. Big, strong guy. In spring training, Dan, he hit 9 home runs, 364, 9 home runs, 18 RBIs in 21 games. That opens some eyes. They know he has great physical attributes, but because of the way he holds his hands so high, out so far away from the body, you think you can expose him by pitching inside. They jammed him that first time, tying him up, but he also stands so far off the plate that you have to make sure you get in. But you almost wonder is, can he reach the outside pitch? So it appears there's a lot of different ways to go after this guy. You make a mistake, he can lose it. Want to bounce this one, a changeup.
And he singles up the middle. Only the second hit allowed by Lohse today. Morse is 1 for 2. He was called on strikes his first time up.
Muscled that ball, and that's easy for that big man, but kind of jammed him a little bit. See the ball sinking. Still, it was up above the belt before it started sinking. Ends up a little bit, thigh high or so, which is a dangerous pitch. Why they were really trying to throw inside on it, I'm not sure.
Here's Pudge Rodriguez. We're in the 5th, runner at first. 2-0 St. Louis. And time is called. Rodriguez flied to left his first time up. He's 0 for 1.
The Nationals have gotten Tony La Russa's attention with their base stealing.
Pudge this year making his 20th consecutive opening day start. It's also career game number 2,500 for him. And he's 178 hits shy of 3,000.
Talked about it last night. The all-time hits leader for the position of catcher. And he wants to play, 2 or 3 more years. And so he'll probably be the first to get to 3,000 as a catcher.
Hit out of play.
And what a career he's had. As 14-time All-Star, 13-time Gold Glover, 7-time Silver Slugger.
Amazing thing is all those games played behind the plate just to get to that point and not be injured along the way. All those foul tips, collisions at the plate.
Remember what Darryl Porter said. And
double play ball. Out at second. Still got him. Out at first as Punto couldn't get it out of the glove, but finally did. 6-4-3.
Good to see the Cardinals be able to turn a double play. As a team, they've hit into more than any other major league club. But here you get the little underhand from Terrio. A little high, and that messes up the timing. Tough with exchange is you see Punto reached in there and then had to go in a second or third time to get the grip, but still was able to make the play. But Darryl Porter, who ended up having substance abuse problems, and after he got straightened out, sat there and said, I never realized how much foul balls hurt.
Only you, Al.
need to come up with your book of quotes, phrases, thoughts by Al. Here's Cora. We line one back to Kyle Lohse. First time up, went off his glove, then to Punto at second, and they were able to get him. Now here's another guy with great experience. He's 35 years old, and he could play both second base, shortstop. Very good pinch hitter. He's had over 100 plate appearances as a pinch hitter. And grounds it to Punto. The single by Morse erased on the 6-4-3 double play. Cora grounds out in a beautiful day from Busch Stadium. Throughout the season, it's in the Ford Plaza. Live music, player appearances. Tomorrow, it's Ryan Franklin. For details and future player appearances, visit Cardinals.com/promotions. Timing is everything in life, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's amazing. Good fortune, good luck.
Lohse leads it off, followed by Terrio and Rasmus. Lohse grounded out to third. His first time up. And there's a strike at the knees. They're in the top of the ninth, and the Reds have extended their lead with the Diamondbacks. It's now 7-3. Lohse trying to bunt his way on. And that's strike two.
Cardinals win their ball game. You really don't care. It's all the better to set up a drama for an early first place showdown. The weekend series with the Reds coming up tomorrow. Great promotions too, right?
Yeah, tomorrow night you can get $9 seats here at the ballpark. $9 seats. Part of dynamic pricing, and there's fireworks tomorrow night. Shane D Statue Day on Saturday. And then on Sunday, it's the Stan the Man bobblehead night. That's Easter Sunday. And that is a night game this Sunday.
And because of the night game, there's some very attractive pricing.
They went with two sections, one of those being terrace and field box level seats for under $20. Just go to Cardinals.com and look at dynamic pricing. 2-2. I think more and more as the word has gotten out, fans are starting to take advantage of those prices that can fluctuate. 3-2 pitch, and Lohse strikes out. Hilton St. Louis at the ballpark, the only hotel that gives you home field advantage. Visit HiltonSt.Louis.com to book your Cardinals ticket package. Coming this summer, the new 360 rooftop.
Hey, you can see the new rooftop up there. They can see where their construction workers working on it. What a great view that's going to be.
Popped up to the right side off the bat of Terrio. Lohse over and can't get there. Second baseman also trying to help out Espinoza.
Hey, you see that rooftop on the eastern tower of the Hilton at the ballpark?
Can't say enough about the job that Fernando Salas did yesterday in game 1. 3 innings, he allowed a leadoff triple. That triple did not come around to score, and in many ways he saved the bullpen for game 2.
That's not in many ways, a whole bunch of ways. If he doesn't do the job, and of course he'd probably be left out there and would have to absorb a beating just to spare the bullpen, but all the better. A career high 3 shutout innings. Goes out there. Cardinals truly don't have a long man per se, so that was a very good audition for him.
Then the ballpark is still buzzing about Eduardo Sanchez.
He's on the left, as he's made 3 major league appearances now, and is it 5 innings, 10 strikeouts?
That'd be it. His debut, he had 5 strikeouts in Arizona.
And that's young Brian Augustine, who made the club out of spring training, but injured his leg, and he's on the disabled list right now. The old veteran helping out those kids. Don't forget, Trevor Miller's done an outstanding job pitching the last 3+ years for the Cardinals, but you know, a pretty good tutor out there.
Lazy fly ball into right center. Rick Ankiel puts it away. You won't find a better guy in baseball than that man right there, Trevor Miller.
You know, you didn't know much about him. We've seen him for over the years, playing with a lot of different organizations, situational lefter, but he has become a very valuable piece of that bullpen. Not only what he does on the mound, but just as a sounding board for a lot of the young pitchers that have come through that bullpen.
He has a daughter with special needs, and you know, many fans have heard the story about Trevor, and he's turned to running half marathons and the 5Ks. There's a swing and a miss, and the reason why, and there's Ryan Franklin there on the left, but Trevor Miller said he was starting to get into some bad habits away from the ballpark, and it was a way for him to take his frustrations out, his anxiety, what may happen to his daughter. Speaks about it freely and tries to help out other families that are going through similar situations. Just really a neat guy. And uses baseball, this platform, to spread the news,
Absolutely.
so to speak.
Have a wonderful platform, and sometimes we forget that these players have the same problems everyone else does away from the game, but yet when they take the field or they're out on the diamond, you know, everybody thinks they're robots, and they're not.
Two balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and nobody on. Rasmus pops it up left side. Third baseman calling for it. Foul territory, and he has it. That's Cora. Cardinals go quietly. We move to the 6th. Redbirds on top 2-0. Cardinals' first home run against the Nationals following their move to Washington in 2005. The AT&T trivia question. Here it is. Jimmy Edmonds, May 27th of 2005, in that familiar swing. You've seen Jim around the ballpark. He's been living in St. Louis, splitting time between here and California.
Looking for a new home
here in town.
Yep. May end up building. This is Jesus Flores, one of their young catchers, pinch hitting.
So the Cardinals will get into the Nationals bullpen in the bottom of the 6th. 2 hits aside and a 2-0 lead for the Redbirds.
Arzelani, really only one bad pitch. That ball to walk to Pujols.
Roderick getting loose, a right-hander. Flores was recalled from AAA Syracuse back on the 12th. Ryan Zimmerman was placed on the DL. This guy has been rehabbing injuries. Missed most of 2009, all of 2010, dealing with issues with his right shoulder. 1-2 pitch.
Yeah, pretty talented young receiver, and then went down, and then now when they went out and got Ramos, who was a very highly rated offensive player, a catcher from Minnesota. They traded Caps, a closer, for him. And with Joe Nathan, who was out all last season, they had to make that deal to get a closer. Paid off, and now the fact that Nathan coming back and not right, voluntarily said, I'm hurting the ball club. I need to step out of the closer's role for a while. Caps is now taken over as a closer, and Nathan, coming off the surgery, I'm sure will work his way back to that position.
Bottom dropped out of that pitch, and a strikeout for Kyle Lohse. The changeup, and that is strikeout number 4 in the afternoon. Boy, he looks good. Don't forget, we've got fireworks at the ballpark tomorrow. $9 seats are available. Fireworks night here at Busch Stadium.
Circle changeup, good arm action, pulls down on it, bottom falls out. 4th strikeout for Lohse.
Popped up, playable. Out number 2.
Thank you. Dan, this is 4 consecutive starts to start this season for Lohse that is just pitched very well. Had the one bad inning and start one, cost him put a loss on that column, but then he's went out and won the next 2.
Another changeup, that time in the dirt. Rick Ankiel has been very aggressive. Especially early in counts.
You know, Rick, when he left the Cardinals, and he could be stubborn at times, was really kind of in a bad spot as a hitter. He couldn't hit a ball above the waist, couldn't hit anything spinning. But he's worked hard, and like you said, reunited with Rick Eckstein. And when those two were together at Memphis, the Cardinals AAA affiliate, he had 32 home runs. And that was in part of the season there.
On 3-0, the pitch to Ankiel is a strike. Andrew and Daniel Muni are with us. Skipping school. Ankiel hits it out of play. And the count runs full now. It's 3-2. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Bases are empty with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Missed. So a 2-out walk, and the second walk issued by Kyle Lohse. His pitch count still very good. It's only at 69.
Rare, and the first time all season that he has walked 2 in a game. That's only 4 for the season. He had 24 innings pitched in spring training. Did not walk a man there either.
This is where it gets dangerous, though. A 2-out walk and extends the inning to Worth.
Remember Holiday's 2-run home run followed a walk to Pujols.
Came with 2 outs. That was back in the first. That misses outside. Worth today with a base hit into right. He picked up the first hit for the Nationals. That was in the 4th. And he was called out on strikes. 5 for 9 against Lohse with a pair of home runs. The 1-0 pitch.
Way out in front. As Kyle Lohse, when he first came to the Cardinals, you remember he won 15 ball games, a late signing. You know, he just utilized his sinker an awful lot.
In the air to right. Jay is back with room and makes the catch. Washington strands a runner. It stays 2-0 midway through 6. Pujols coming up. Cardinals as we move to the bottom of the 6th at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Our Schnooks, this date in baseball history. Ray Langford plows through Darren Dalton, one of the most famous plays for Langford in his career. Bam, right there. It was Gerald Perry at the plate. And Langford, who had a football background, showed it off.
Pretty good little running back from Modesto, California. Ooh. And Dalton paid the price for that one.
Did he ever? Here's Albert Pujols. And a breaking ball in the dirt. Underway, bottom of the 6th. Pujols has walked and scored. And also bounced into a 6-4-3 double play. This is our Chevy called to the pen.
And this is a Rule 5 selection from St. Louis. Brian Broderick. So December 10th he was selected. Needs a few more innings, get that ERA down. 6.6, 205. He reached as high as Springfield last season. Started at Palm Beach, but was 11-2 with a 2.77 ERA at Springfield.
And Pujols chops it to short. One away.
I'm sure Brian envisioned himself pitching here in St. Louis, just not for the Nationals. The Cardinals felt like they had to protect others, and so this 6'6" right-handed sinker baller, he joined the Nationals as part of a Rule 5 selection. He'll have to stay with the big club or be offered back to St. Louis for half the waiver price.
Matt Holliday, pair of base hits today. Home run to left and a base hit to right. 2 for 2. Average has jumped up to 465 with 2 more hits.
Cardinals at time last year would jump out to a lead and kind of sit on that lead. They've been much better this year, but not in this game yet.
See, this is a big kid, but doesn't throw very hard. That last pitch, breaking ball at 77 miles an hour. His fastball has been in the high 80s. The 2-1.
Say he's a sinker baller. He's got the good height at 6'6". Get on top of the ball. And probably because he's not exceptionally hard thrower, that he kind of doesn't bring a lot of attention to himself.
Little chopper again, left side. This time at third. 2 outs.
But you could say what you want. He just went through 2 of the best hitters in baseball.
Absolutely. This week, Fox Saturday Baseball, Joey Votto, the Reds. They'll be here to take on the Redbirds. Fox Saturday Baseball at 3 in high definition. David Freese is 0 for 2. He's grounded out to short and struck out swinging back in the 4th. Gorzelani gave Washington 5 innings as he struck out 3 and allowed only 2 base hits. Oh, 1 pitch to Freese. Nice crowd here at Busch Stadium for day baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Another ground ball hit to third. Backing up, making the play is Cora, and the Cardinals go quietly in their half of the 6th. 2-0. Where you'll find the seats you want and the freedom to choose where you want to sit. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals. Here in St. Louis at Busch Stadium, it's 2-0. Lohse will lead it off. He is grounded out and walked. That floats in there for strike 1. Cal Lohse has struck out 4. He's allowed 2 base hits. He's walked 2. Sunshine is out. Big crowd here at Busch Stadium.
If you're in the sun, you're in pretty good shape.
Yep. Little liner that's caught by Punto. One away. Changeup by Lohse has been very effective today, Alan. We've also seen him, we've talked about it a lot, but he's kept the ball low. And many times, if that sinker is working, Kyle Lohse will use that basically exclusively from at bat to at bat.
Well, that was one thing Dave Duncan tried to emphasize when he first came over. Is you have a great sinking fastball, you should use it more. And the more you use a pitch like that, you probably learn to control the life of it. But by keeping it down, then you don't get hurt. They only pound it to the ground. And if you have a sinker, you can utilize your changeup an awful lot. There's the two-seam sinker. And we haven't seen a lot of the sliders, but that has been a pitch that has been very effective for him this year. The ability to keep that ball down right there.
Said two-seam. Explain that to folks at home.
Well, it's how you throw it in design, and your fingers are with the two seams at the most narrow part. Four seam, you put it out on the horseshoe.
Nice play by Pujols.
And by taking that two seam, throwing over the top, you get that two seam rotation, and the ball has a tendency to have a tumbling effect. But here's a rocket, but you got a Gold Glover over there. Look how far off the line Albert is.
With 2 outs, it brings in Morse. Nobody on. 2-0 Redbirds.
Infielders will always receive a ball, and very quickly it's without even thinking about it, they reach into the glove and come up with a four-seam grip. It's a grip that it allows them to throw the ball with more accuracy. Now, usually pitchers can throw that pitch a little with better velocity, but more times than not it'll be straighter. So it's not a pitch that a lot of guys like to use. They rather have the movement, and a guy like Dave Duncan preaches pitching to contact, so use a sinker to get ground ball outs.
Lohse fielding his position. Time to stretch here at Busch Stadium. It's day baseball on your home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Midwest. Seventh rolls in here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Home Depot doing more on defense, and it's Kyle Lohse. We've seen that he can field his position and did so here. Nice play.
You release the ball, you become a fifth infielder. And we talked, part of the success for Lohse is the fact that he is a very good athlete, and he demonstrated it there.
Yadier Molina leads it off.
Dan, a pitcher, is the only player that doesn't have to be an athlete. He has to have one ability, and that's to throw a baseball.
Molina in the air to right, backing up Worth to make the catch. One pitch, one away.
But obviously, the more athletic you are, the better it's going to help you in many ways of hitting or fielding to help yourself out as a pitcher. But it's the only place you really have to have one quality, and that's an ability to throw a baseball.
Shocked to hear you say that.
As much as that pains me to say that.
I can't believe you said it. Here's Nick Puto, the switch hitter now, hitting from the left side. 2 walks in this game today.
And of course, just about every major league player at one time in amateur ball probably was the pitcher, because in Little League they always want the best athlete to be the pitcher.
And a lot of times now we see that those hard throwers used to be position players or catchers, couldn't hit, but still that wear and tear on their arm hadn't taken effect because they didn't pitch. But they get to the big leagues because they can throw. Jason Mott comes to mind. 2 balls and 1 strike. Broderick disproving Al's theory. Outstanding athlete, making that stab and taking a hit away. Brings in John Jay.
I said they don't have to be an athlete. It helps if they are.
It helps. Well, Broderick's come in. He's seen 5 batters, and all 5 have been sent down. 4 of the 5 have been ground balls. Carpenter, Garcia, Lohse, and McClellan have given up a total combined of 26 earned runs total. There's a ground ball base hit. Pitching, Al, even minus Wainwright, has been a plus this year.
Well, we talked about it, that the injury to Adam Wainwright happened so early in spring training. The obvious disappointment disappeared. You can't replace him, but it was something that they were able to put it aside and not let it bother him. And in vogue now, you lift that front leg up. But I say that without Adam Wainwright, Dave Duncan still, his starting staff is a real asset to this ball club.
That's a base hit to the right side for Kyle Lohse. Extends the inning to the top of the lineup.
And if you are an athlete, you can help yourself in so many different ways. Really, he went up there with a mindset that he was going to hit this ball through the hole. Good piece of hitting right there. Knew what he wanted to do and was able to execute it. Cardinals, once they put on those hitting shoes when they got to Arizona, second stop on their 3-city road trip, they started hitting. They started hitting in multiple frames, scoring in multiple frames, a lot of 2-out base hits. The timely hitting came into effect.
This is Ryan Theriot with 2 outs and 2 on. Theriot lines out to short. The Cardinals strand 2. They've left 5 on today. We head to the 8th, and it's 2-0 St. Louis. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. By Bank of America, ATM deposits are as easy as an infield fly. No deposit slip, no envelope. With Bank of America, member FDIC. And by AT&T. Gorgeous day for baseball. And Kyle Lohse pitching into the 8th. It's 2-0 St. Louis. The difference in this game, a 2-run homer by Holiday back in the first.
Kyle Lohse looking for his 3rd victory. And in all 4 starts, has gone at least 7 innings.
Cardinals really needed him to bounce back this year. By all accounts, he's set to have a big season.
He's stepped up. There's opportunities, and there you see how effective he's been. The pitch count very much in control. But the opportunity presented itself with Wainwright going down that someone needed to step up. And so far, Kyle McClellan and Lohse have done an outstanding job. And the way they're pitching, both of them, there's no reason to think that they should not continue it. Probably have a hiccup here and there, but for the most part, they should continue. And that looked like an outstanding pitch. Didn't get the call.
That portion of the plate has been inconsistent.
Well, watch how these umpires today. They sit over the inside part of the plate, and then they have to guess at the outside pitch.
Pudge is saying the same thing. 3 pitches ago, it was a strike. Next pitch was a ball. Same area on that last pitch. It's a strike, and he's upset.
Well, they see the umpire sitting so far over the inside shoulder that he's got to guess right there. And that pitch is up in the zone. Now, it's in my era, it was a definite strike, but as the strike zone has gotten smaller, it's consistently not called a strike.
This is Alex Cora. Matt Stairs has moved to the on-deck circle. First pitch is strike. Cora is 0 for 2. Nine ground ball outs today for Kyle Lohse. He has struck out 5. He has walked 2.
A little bit. He's actually had more balls reach the outfield than we've been accustomed to, but
8 fly ball outs.
Yeah,
8.
obviously he's throwing his game and dominating. He's got a pair of singles. That's it. A couple walks, but 2 singles.
Fly ball into center. Rasmus is there. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Another byproduct of this start by Lohse, he's got 2 outs here in the 8th. You are coming off a doubleheader where you didn't know about Franklin's availability today. Salas, Sanchez, guys that worked last night. So we'll see exactly how it all plays out here with 1 out to go here in the 8th, and then looking ahead to the 9th.
Now, they got plenty of arms available. Just think of Batista. Now that you've gotten this deep into a ball game, but the way he's pitching right now, you just start taking him out at a time. But there's no reason to assume that he shouldn't be given the opportunity to complete the shutout. Fastball in. These umpires look over the inside shoulder. The pitch that they see so clearly is the inside pitch, and oftentimes they seem like they miss it. Change up away.
2-2.
How about Matt Stairs?
Been doing this a long time.
It's what, 89 with Montreal Expos, and he is the all-time leader in pinch hit home runs. And with his next pinch hit, it'll be number 100 pinch hit of his career.
Initial pro contract with the Expos 22 years ago.
Yep. And here's another pitch that misses location, but it's a strike. That should be an easy pitch for the umpire to see the way he's positioned.
Full count.
How about Lohse, though? The no hitters has stepped out or tried to alter his. He's out there throwing his game at his pace. Inside fastball.
And a strikeout. 2 in the inning. 6 this afternoon. Big bats coming up. Rasmus, Pujols, and Holiday. Don't go anywhere. This will be his second appearance, and he'll pitch the bottom of the 8th. And he'll get some big bats here. Rasmus, Pujols, and Holiday. Just a gorgeous afternoon for baseball. Big crowd here at Busch Stadium. No activity right now in the Cardinals bullpen, if you're wondering. And the Cardinals will send Lohse out for the 9th. He has struck out 6. Last base runner was in the 6th inning for Washington. That was a walk. Their last hit was in the 5th by Morse. They have 2 hits today. Jason Worth and Morse, the base hit in the 5th. And Lohse has had 96 pitches this afternoon.
Well, it is cool, so you stay invigorated. And he doesn't look like he's broken a sweat here this afternoon. Complete control. It may get somebody up to go along with him in the 9th inning, because it is only a 2-run lead. So get some more runs, pile on.
Here's Rasmus, and today Colby was called out on strikes against Gorzolani in the 1st. He walked in the 3rd and popped out to the 3rd baseman in the 5th. Average at .351 to start the year with 3 home runs, 9 driven in. He's in the spot in the lineup that most in baseball would love, hitting in front of Albert Pujols.
You get a lot more fastballs. People are not going to, they're going to throw you strikes, not pitch around you.
Would you call him, though, a prototypical number 2 hitter? Meaning a guy that you'd want to sacrifice with?
No.
You know, and exactly. And
what made me think about it was a second is how a lot of the definitions have changed. You know, leadoff hitters, not the old classic leadoff hitter that you think of in the past. As some clubs have put a real power guy in there.
Exactly, and even Tony says that. He says his number 2 wants damage out of that spot.
He wants damage out of the 2 hole, but
here's a 2-2 pitch. Taken high and outside.
I mean, as we say, and that you don't ever want to walk a guy in front of Albert. Many people do.
The thing is, too, Al, with the Cardinals in the way that Tony did it with McGuire, now does it with Pujols, you're not going to run in front of Albert. Not many times. You're going to leave first base occupied and let him have a chance to drive him in.
Albert does change the thinking. And even when he's lurking 4 or 5 batters away from his plate appearance, he's in the back of your mind.
Sure is. A 3-2 pitch. Taken for a ball outside. Leadoff man is on.
As we just say, the strategy is don't ever walk somebody ahead of Pujols. They frequently do.
Good crowd today of 36,160. And again, a reminder, there are seats available all weekend long. Fireworks tomorrow, $9 seats available. Red Shandy's statue replica on Saturday. And then Sunday Night Baseball, dynamic pricing for those seats as well. Stan the Man bobblehead. Check swing by Pujols, who has walked and scored, grounded into a double play and grounded out to short.
Ballister, who Albert's facing here, that's Colin Ballister with 2 L's in Colin. He's the longest tenured pitcher in the Washington system, going back to the Montreal days.
Two balls and no strikes. Outfield is deep for Pujols. Albert is sitting on 5 home runs. Make it 6. Way out of here. Over the bullpen. 2-run shot for Albert Pujols. RBIs 13 and 14.
That's why you don't walk someone ahead of Albert. Both home runs today followed walks, accounting for all 4 runs. Holiday in the first, Albert here in the 8th. As the last homestand we were here, everyone's worried, what's wrong with Albert? Well, he's nothing, as he now has 6 home runs, 14 RBIs, and just starting to heat up.
That was our Nissan drive of the game. And here's Holiday, who is homered as well. His was back in the first, and it's now a 4-run lead. A little cushion for Kyle Lohse. You could just see that coming, couldn't you?
Well, Kyle Losche's mindset is that he doesn't need that. But in the back of his mind, he's relieved that he does have that extra runs to work with. But he's thinking, that I'm in a 1-run game. I'm going to go out and complete my shutout.
2-0 the count here on Holiday. In addition to that home run, he's had a single to right and grounded out to third. A 2-0 pitch.
Alistair was just recalled from AAA on Sunday. Trying to make him a full-time reliever now.
And a walk to Matt Holliday. Rough outing here. A pair of walks and a 2-run homer. Pujols now with 6 home runs is just 1 back of Troy Tulowitzki. Shortstop of Colorado with 7. Now with 14 RBIs, and that puts him in the top 3 in RBIs in the National League.
And ties Berkman for the team lead in home runs, and 1 off of Berkman in RBIs. Steve McCaddy, the pitching coach for the Nationals, out to talk as they're getting a lefty warming up. Is Doug Slayton warming up in their pen. But I'm sure right now Caddy's telling his young pitcher, go throw strikes. Nothing good can happen. You got 8 guys or 7 guys behind you, 1 in front, are all trying to help you out, but you've got to throw strikes in order for them to do so.
Tommy, our director today, Mike Helling, our producer, Brian McCann, Dan Hyatt, Keith Oberman, and strike 1 on the batter, David Freese. 0-1 pitch. Also Keith O'Brien. Danny Martinez helping us out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Appreciate the crew's efforts last couple of nights. Long day yesterday and back at it again today. They were here early this morning to set up for Cardinal baseball. Little dog. Here's a 1-2 pitch. In the air to left center field. That ball will get down. Holliday on his way to third. Freese in with a double. He'll wave him in. Relay to the plate. Not in time. Holliday scores to make it 5-0. David Freese with RBI number 10.
Well, it took the Cardinals a while to add on to this game, but now you're starting to see the punishment that they can provide to the bullpenners. As a couple walks, a 2-run home run, now a double, producing a 3rd run as Freese can be an RBI machine. And look at Holliday. He's chugging along there. He's going to help out the cause and score all the way from first base. Descalso is now pinch running out at second.
How about the job that Descalso did with the glove at third base? Outstanding yesterday.
I don't want to say shocking, but he has exceeded my expectations, and I think a lot of people, as we've seen him make a lot of really, really good plays. Remember, he's a natural second baseman.
Do you make this move, Al, for a couple of reasons, and let me throw those out. Number one, on the base pass, you have a guy with the surgeries of David Freese, so you don't want to put him in a position possibly with a play at the plate. You have a cushion now of 5. And then also just to get some rest maybe for David Freese, and I'm just guessing here, you get him out of this inning and get him on the bench. Descalso has shown that he can handle the glove just fine.
No doubt about it. And even David Freese has talked about that, I'm relearning how to run with the 3 ankle surgeries, picked up some bad habits. So even time you can get a little bit of a breather for him. Maybe he can play all 3 games in the Cincinnati series. Got an off day on Monday, so I think that's part of Tony's mindset. But right now, Descalso and David Freese is above average third baseman. But I think it's just a testament to Descalso ways play third base that Tony's doing this for all the right reasons and not sacrificing any defense in the 9th inning over at third base. Last year, you couldn't say that. When Freese went out, the ball club really suffered offensively and maybe even more defensively at third base.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Yadier Molina. 3-2, and Descalso is your runner at second base. The relievers are just standing out there for Washington. They're set to go.
Well, Slayton was warmed up for Kobe Rasmus. They might even not wait that long.
The 3-2 pitch on its way. Look back, the runner at second. Molina is out at first. In steps Nick Punto, 0 for 1 today with a pair of walks. You're just joining us. It was a 2-run homer by Matt Holliday in the first. 2-run homer by Pujols in this inning. RBI double by David Freese, and it's added up to a 5-0 lead with 1 out, runner at second, and a pitching change here at the bottom of the 8th.
exceptional situational lefty last season, holding left-handed batters to a 151 average. This season, he's gotten off to a slow start. Lefties are batting .364, righties .333, and they'll turn around Punto, the switch hitter, and have him bat from the right side. Nick is getting plenty of playing time, which we knew would coming to the Cardinals as a free agent, but having the sports hernia, missing all of spring training, and just last week went to extended spring to start baseball activities, rushed back to St. Louis with the injury to Schumacher, and he's made his presence felt just with his batting eye walking in the first 2 games. Tyler Green will pinch hit for John Jay.
So 1 out, runner at second base, and a 5-run lead for the Redbirds here in the 8th. Slayton steps and throws and makes the play. 2 outs. Looking ahead to this weekend, should be a lot of fun here at Busch Stadium, and the matchups are Kyle McClellan and Edinson Volquez. We'll have that telecast for you. Don't forget, hour-long pregame show. Al and Rick will have the call for you. McClellan is 2-0 with a 1.89 ERA. Saturday, Carpenter and Travis Wood. And Sunday, Westbrook and Sam LeCure.
They're asking Slayton to throw the ball in. And it might have a very small smudge on it, so it's immediately ejected and thrown out.
You can't have that, Al.
Oh, no. It's got to be
Pristine.
shiny,
Right.
pristine, huh?
2 outs, runner at third. Here's Green. Tyler Green started at second base in game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday. Did have a double. One ball, 1 strike. Cardinals' first homestand total, 15 runs already this series, 16.
It was a 2-4 homestand to start the season.
Popped up. Is it playable? It is. Foul territory. LaRoche makes the catch. Cardinals add to their lead with 3. And Lohse will try to go to the distance. 5-0. St. Louis.
To the 9th at Busch Stadium. Coming up after the game on the post-game edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live, Pat Paris and Rick Hortner at Lumiere Place. Kyle Lohse continues his April dominance. Matt Holliday continues to hammer, and we'll get you set for the big series with Cincinnati. Kyle Lohse trying to finish it off as we go back to the booth, and Dan and Al. Guys.
All right, Jim, thank you. Our player of the game brought to you by Budweiser, Kyle Lohse. Pitching into the 9th. Only 2 hits allowed, no runs. He's walked a pair. First pitch is a strike.
Kyle has 5 career shutouts. His last coming April 12th of '09.
He is dealing today.
Oh, you can see he feels it too. Yeah, he's going out there attacking the strike zone, keeping the ball down. Like Batista has started throwing in the bullpen, but everyone is rooting for Kyle to complete this shutout.
He hits Espinoza. While we have a chance, let's flash back. Kyle Lohse, 112 pitches, a Sunday afternoon, 2009 against Houston. Lance Berkman made the final out. Here's Rick Ankiel. Strike one. Ankiel today. Grounded out to second. Fly to center and is also walked.
Scalzo stays in at third, and Tyler Green is playing right field. How about a double play ball? Cardinals have already had one this afternoon.
Miller is throwing in the bullpen. Batista as well.
We haven't even been looking out there, Dan. They're just getting tuned up for tomorrow night.
Check swing. Did not go. Certainly you'd have a chance to take that base if you wanted to at second. That's Espinoza, the runner at first. That pitch inside. 3-2.
You have to take it.
You avoid the double play.
Exactly. You got a sinker ball pitcher out there. You get a guy that, when he's right, gets a lot of ground balls. Their Cardinals are conceding the base to you. Take it.
Runner goes, and it's popped up. Shallow left. Holliday moving towards the line, makes the catch. Al, I've never understood that. I mean,
when they're giving it to you, don't why not
exactly.
Take it? Now the Cardinals, you see them do it 95% of the time.
And I guess the thinking might be you're swinging at the first pitch and you'd line into a double play, but many times down by 5 runs, you're taking a pitch anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, if that's the case, so what? But now, if you don't take it, now they're holding him on because a double play ends the ball game. But he should have already been out at second base with just one out.
There's Jason Worth. He had the first base hit for Washington today. That was in the 4th inning. They have just 2 this afternoon. Albert will give it a look, and it's out of play. No balls and 2 strikes on Jason Worth.
But now, because they did not take advantage and take the base, you have a right-handed hitter up, so Albert will hold on. They had the lefty Ankiel up. They were allowing them to take the base. Albert in a better fielding position.
Oh, 2 is hit out to left. This should be caught. Holliday coming on, makes the catch. 2 outs. Espinosa back to first.
His last shutout against Astros back in 09, April 12th. He threw 112 pitches. His next pitch will be number 109.
On their feet here at Busch.
And now with the left hand hitting Lohse, Albert playing back on the grass again. So Lohse, here's a guy that usually will take a pitch.
And he hits it out to deep left. Holiday backing up. He is there. Lohse goes the distance. 2-hit shutout. Cardinals win it 5-0.
Masterful performance in command from pitch 1.